How's it going, fellas? Now that we've had the entire weekend to test out the GoPro Hero 6 side by side, damn it, you ruined my tank! Tested out image stabilization, audio, the Protune, low light dynamic range, and my favorite, slow motion. Am I trying too hard to be funny now? I am, huh? I'm sorry. Let's just get into the test. Since all of you internet video viewers are so impatient, let's start with the coolest stuff first, the slow motion. The 240 frames per second in the 1080p, awesome. The GoPro Hero 5 technically also has 240 frames per second, but it crops way in and it's just not as sexy and sharp. I mean, look at this shot. I get a nice clean look at my tires being ruined in slow motion. So to make this a little bit more of a fair fight, let's go to 120 frames per second. Oops. Oh, and this one's gotta be my favorite shot. I posted this one on my Instagram. Shameless plug. And here it is again on the Hero 5. Still a pretty cool shot, but just not as crispy. The image processor is doing a good job on the 6 for sure. Overall, nice job GoPro. The slow-mo looks awesome. Now let's move on to some boring shit. When the Hero 5 first announced their image stabilization, I was pretty impressed, but this new Hero 6 is on another level. Keep in mind that I have the GoPros taped together here, but it's not mounted to anything. It's not on a stick or anything. I'm just holding it. So usually the footage would be really shaky. On the Hero 5, you feel every step you take and every camera bump. But if you're on the 6 and you're holding it fairly steady, then it'll feel like it's floating. Oh yeah, and if you have a car mount and occasionally like to bottom out your suspension, then you'll notice a difference in the stability for sure. And I think overall image quality has been improved as well. I think the new image processor is doing a good job at processing colors a little bit better and also adding a little bit more contrast. And here you can see that there's a lot more orange to the sunset, and oh yeah, she's a little bit camera shy. I should also mention that the 6 did crash a couple different times, but I'm sure that's because it's a brand new camera. GoPro is usually pretty good about updating their firmware pretty quickly to give you a super stable system. The 5 did crash a couple times when I first got it, but now it is super solid, so I'm sure the 6 will get there. Now looking at some low light, in my last video, most of you mentioned that you actually like the 5 better than the 6, which I kind of agree with. For the super dark shots, I think the 6 is trying too hard to pull too much information out of the darks and causing all this grain. But these are examples in crazy dark spots. I'm honestly impressed that you can see anything at all. But once you get a little bit more light in dimly lit places, I think the 6 does start to perform better. So now I'm gonna switch it over to Protune, turn on the flat color profile, and see exactly what this camera is capable of. You probably already noticed by now that the GoPro Hero 6 generally tends to look a little bit brighter and the colors seem a little bit fuller, which I'm a fan of. Now, how do each of these cameras sound in windy conditions? Right now, we are flying into the wind. Let's see, and then if we fly this way, your camera's facing the wind. Alright, how's it sound? I don't know if you can hear me or not. It might just be crazy too windy, but now I'm gonna switch to the 6 here and we're gonna see how it sounds, or looks. So now we're on the Hero 6. Does it look any different? We're recording in 4K now. All right, so that beeping sound basically means I caught a big thermal, which means it's a pocket of hot air that's pushing my glider up in the air. So I'm actually gaining a lot of elevation by sitting here. Whoa! All right, so I'm gonna try to get another 1,000-ish feet in the air, just so that I don't have to land yet. Let's do this. By the way, the day I get the GoPro Fusion, I'm coming up here and getting some footage to show this to you guys in VR. Imagine how cool this video would be if you could see everything. Like, wow, that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for the Fusion. It's not just the wind noise either. There's some handling noise differences. So check it out. I'm gonna kind of move them around. So this is what my voice sounds like on the Hero 6, and this is what it sounds like on the Hero 5. I think the 6 might do a low pass or something like that. Overall, I do like the flat picture profile on the 6. I was never a fan of the flat on the 5. I found it a little bit hard to grade, but the 6, I think it looks pretty good straight out of the camera. So I'm gonna do a quick grade to each. Oh yeah, and if you're curious about the difference between 4K and 2.7K, let's zoom into this hang glider here. And yeah, when you zoom in like this, the difference becomes obvious, but most likely this resolution difference is not gonna make a difference for most users. I generally shoot at a lower resolution anyways to save on data and get better battery life. I think the better colors and dynamic range is the bigger story here. If you already have a 5, I don't necessarily think you need to get rid of it and upgrade to a whole new one. But if you're shopping for a new camera, you're trying to decide between the 5 and the 6, it might be worth a little bit extra. To me, what makes it worth it is the image stabilization, the slow motion, and the audio. That's about all I have to say, and yep, here's another awkward ending. But it's good. I mean, I can just like put the video clips here to give you guys time to look at. Okay, I'm out.